Sorry. Yeah. So now this is being recorded. Um, and that freedom is something that is hard for us to cherish in this kind of constrained way. Um, I'll probably share it again as the opportunity arises. People asked in the ghettos. People asked in the camps, "How can I recite the blessing every morning that thank you God for making me a free person? I'm not a free person. How can you in the old way of saying it, you said thank you God for not making me a slave. You were a slave in the camps. So the person came to one of the rabbis and said, how can I say this lie? How can I say thank you for not making me a slave? Thank you for making me free." And the rabbi answered him, because they can never take away your real freedom. They can never take away the freedom of your spirit, of your soul. That they can never take away. The only one who has control over using that freedom or living that freedom or not is you. So by saying that blessing, you remind yourself, even in the worst situation, that, hey, I'm still free. I am still capable of doing all kinds of positive things that that are right here at hand. I can sing a Passover song. If I have Zoom, I can turn on my Zoom. Look at this. They never thought we would be able to do something like this. So if you have somebody that you can Zoom with, then do that. If you're going to sit by yourself, then take that opportunity as an opportunity. With all of the wonderful aspects of having a Seder with a lot of people, I think that every single person at every one of those Seders at some point or other becomes a little disconcerted or a little even annoyed because the rhythm of the Seder is going not according to what they want. If it's too slow, they don't like it. If it's going too fast, they don't like it. If they wanted to talk about something and they're not talking about it, no. So there's a whole, paradoxically, there's a certain amount of freedom that you get when you're by yourself. Right? There's a certain amount of freedom where you can say, you know what, I really want to just think about this particular point, this particular question. Find something. Now, preparation is really a good idea. Find something that is meaningful, a poem, a song, right? If you listen to music on Yontif, find a recording of something that, Paul Robeson, Marian Anderson singing Go Down Moses, and listen to it. I keep thinking of putting it up and I haven't done it yet. There's an amazing video that was put up. I think it was in Italy. I don't remember which chorus it was, but of course the chorus in the opera house, in the opera houses all over the world, can't meet anymore. And the whole point of singing in chorus is that you're singing with a mass of other voices together. It's one of the most exhilarating human experiences you can have. So I saw a video of each chorus member in this kind of mosaic, each person in their own little box, in their own little home, and everybody's home looks a little different. And then each person is presenting themselves slightly differently. But all of these are the official choral members of this particular opera chorus, and they sang the Israelites chorus from Nabucco, which is about yearning for your home. That one day we'll still go back home. The Babylonians took us in exile. Nabucco is Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian king, that emperor that exiled the Jews. So, and it became a kind of an Italian national anthem when Verdi wrote it. Italy was trying to become independent, and the coordination of all of these people stuck in their own little space, and yet somehow going past it, is absolutely wonderful. Find something wonderful and put that on your Seder plate, so to speak. put that there, or remember it, or recall it, and enjoy it. We love to share enjoyments, but enjoyments are also very private and are also very personal. And let the Seder be a moment for that as well. Yeah. Somebody wanted to say something, I think. No? Okay. We have a couple of minutes yet. More than a couple of minutes. I wanted to go back to the traditional text itself. And I mentioned last week that we have basically three elements to the Seder. We've got the eating, we've got the telling, and we've got praise. So the praise, for instance, we have a famous section of singing praise, that's Dayenu, right? Dayenu is actually a kind of a prep song to get us ready for the Hallel, right? So again, it's trying to get us to appreciate how good it is for us despite everything. And remember, people have been celebrating a Seder in situations a lot worse than ours. They have been celebrating a Seder, like I said, in camps and in ghettos, and in times of absolute oppression and war and danger, and for all of our struggles, and I don't minimize them at all. I mean, it's actually pretty extraordinary that for all of our struggles, the human being has had it worse. Can you imagine that? And we're still here. So that's pretty amazing also. So the Dayenu gives us a list of things to be thankful for as a nation, and it tells us this. It takes the whole story of getting out of Egypt and then coming to our homeland, and so on. This was reflective of when there was a temple. So one possibility for all of us is, doesn't have to be 15. There are 15 such stanzas in the list of things to be thankful for, and that is the number also of psalms that are called Shir HaMa'alot, the Song of Ascent, like Shir HaMa'alot B'Shuv. Right, there are 15 of those psalms, and there were 15 steps to walk up to the Temple Mount. So some people understand it that each step, you took a step, you paused, you said a psalm. You took a step, you paused, you said a psalm. So to go up higher and higher and higher, and the Dayenu leads us to think of 15 different things that we're happy about. Make a little list of what you're happy about. Make a little list of what you're thankful for. Make a little list of it doesn't have to be 15, like I said, of things that are still part of your life and that are giving you, feeding you joy or strength. When we get to after the Dayenu, we get back to a condensed sort of the 3-minute Seder that was invented by Rabban Gamliel. And Rabban Gamliel used to say, right, Kol shelo amar shlosha dvarim elu bepesach lo yatsa yedei chovato ve'eloheim pesach matzah u'maror. Rabban Gamliel used to say, whoever does not explain the following 3 things has not fulfilled his obligation. Pesach, the Passover offering; matzah, the unleavened bread; maror, the bitter herbs. So we have this in all traditional Haggadot. This is originally found in the Mishnah. And in the Mishnah, it says those things. It says what I just read to you. And then it reads as follows. Pesach, al shum shepasach hamakom. Pesach, because the omnipresent one God skipped over or hovered over in protection over the houses of our ancestors. Matzah, because our ancestors were redeemed from Egypt. Maror, because the Egyptians embittered the lives of our ancestors, right? And then it continues, B'chol dor vador, and in every generation we're personally obligated to see ourselves as having come out of Egypt. So if you look at the Rabban Gamliel in the Mishnah, it's very, very short. When we have it in a Haggadah, the telling gets expanded. And it gets expanded in two ways. So one is, it says, Pesach, Shayu avotenu ochlim bazman shebeit hamikdash hayakayam. So this is written, obviously, after the temple was destroyed. The Passover offering, which our ancestors ate when the temple still existed. So this text is written after the temple no longer existed. He was writing it as something that you could actually say, here's the Pesach. We're about to eat this Pesach. Al shum ma. Why? What is the reason for it? Why are we doing this? Why does it exist? That question does not exist in Rabban Gamliel's Mishnah statement. That question is added in our text because we decided that the telling has to be in question and answer. Rabban Gamliel simply says, just say it. Just explain these things. But we're not content with that. What we decided was to add that extra format, that structure for the Seder is you have to ask questions and then give answers to those questions. And this is precisely the format of a self-solo Seder, right? Where the reader, whoever it is, if you take turns reading, the Haggadah in your community Seder or in your family Seder, somebody gets to read this paragraph and they're reading the question and they're reading the answer because it's as if they're just doing it solo. So you ask yourself the question out loud, what the heck am I doing here? Why am I here? Right? Why am I doing this? And then you answer it and you find an answer. So the element of question and answer has been introduced and added to the original. We should understand, possibly, I'm thinking about this now as a kind of a off the top of my head, what the difference is between when somebody asks a question that they are going to give an answer to, and when they ask a question because they think that if they ask that question, they've won the argument and they've demolished the other person's position, right? This is what the wicked child's approach to questions is. I'm going to ask you a question that hopefully will ruin your day. I'm going to ask you a question that will hopefully ruin your Seder. What the heck is this all about? That's not a rhetorical question. It's not a rhetorical question. It's not a. It's a question that's a weapon, right? It's a question that's asked in order to foreclose answers, in order to make it impossible for you to explore what's going on. The point of questions at the Seder is Pesach, to open up your mouth and start talking, to start exploring, to start seeing what you can do. Free people can talk. Slaves cannot question. Slaves cannot spend the time wondering about things. They just have to get up, go do their work, and then come back and collapse and be thankful that they weren't destroyed. So that's the first part of the addition. The second part is that we say Shene'emar, as it says in the Torah. Right? We find scriptural verses to enhance what we just said. In other words, we don't just take it out of our memory bank. Oh yeah, God protected us in Egypt. We then go back and we find the verse and we recite that verse to be able to celebrate that same thing. In terms of the facts, it's the same facts. I can say God hovered over us protectively when we were in Egypt. Or I can say this verse: "V'amartem zevach pesach hu l'Hashem asher pasach al batei b'nei Yisrael b'Mitzrayim v'nakpo et Mitzrayim v'etpatenu v'yitzil v'yikod ha'am v'yishtachavu." That verse adds so much more. That verse adds so much more to the story, and we don't have enough time to go into all the different elements that it adds. You can look at it and ask yourself, what's added by putting in a verse? What's added by connecting up my overall memories of what it is to be Jewish or what Judaism is all about, and then actually looking at a text and having that text before you. Again, remember, having your own text is also something that slaves are not supposed to have. Right? Confiscating, contraband is a major authoritarian enterprise. When the Russian what do you call it, refusnik culture was going on, there was what was called samizdat, right? Secret texts that were circulated between one person and another, so that they could share like-minded ideas and ways of thinking about things that were not allowed, that were not supposed to be circulated by everybody else. Okay, we have minus 30 seconds. Anybody have another comment or any questions or something to share before we conclude?
I just found the opera link and I just posted it in the comments.
And then you wrote, oops, that was the wrong link.
Yeah, I posted the wrong one. This is the correct one.
Okay, great. So I recommend that if you're not going into the Talmud session, which is about to start, and I'm gonna sign off from here. Listen to it. It's really quite wonderful.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Have a sweet, sweet Pesach, no matter what. Okay. Right? No matter what. Find sweetness there. Okay.
Happy Passover.
And afterwards, I hope that we'll be able to share the ways that we've been able to do it. Okay.
Good.
Be
Thank
well.
you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Now, what are we going to do?
Now we're going to close the recording. And how do you actually get out of this? How do you leave the meeting?
You just close the window or go somewhere else.
Okay, close the window.